This week, we honor our veterans and their service with a special investigation. Our reporting began in May when we obtained these military records. Based on research and interviews, we found a National Guard fighter pilot had to spend 6 years and $70,000 of his own money to get his neck injuries recognized as service-related injuries. Our investigation begins in Denver, Colorado, and stretches to the bureaucracies of Washington, D.C. This case demands accountability, so let's get straight to the point. What did it take for the Air Force to do the right thing?
6 years, $70,000 with an attorney fighting this. I gave everything I had to try to serve this country in the Air Force, and the minute I was unable to perform my duties, they tried to kick me out.
Do you remember the moment you thought something was wrong?
At one point, I had rolled around to try to get a good shot with the helmet and felt a pop in my neck and felt the radiating pain down both arms.
Why is an OB/GYN at the National Guard Bureau reviewing a neck injury case?
That is a fantastic question that I do not have an answer for.
A bike ride or your job flying as a commercial pilot caused the injury to get worse?
Absolutely not.
So it's not accurate?
Not remotely accurate.
Is it fair to assess that the National Guard Board reviewer was looking for a reason to deny your claim?
Absolutely.
Basically, you're getting pushed out of the Air Force
Correct.
because of this one memo by an OB/GYN.
Yep.
Were you left behind by the Air Force and the National Guard?
I feel like I was. Yeah. I gave everything I had to serve this country in the Air Force, and the minute I was unable to perform my duties, they tried to kick me out.
Air National Guard fighter pilot Cody Kirlin is speaking out about a very personal battle to get his flight training injuries recognized. We met the 36-year-old at an airfield outside of Denver, Colorado. What did it take for the Air Force to do the right thing?
6 years, $70,000 with an attorney fighting this, going to all levels of the Air Force to try to get their attention to overturn this injury to being back in the line of duty.
How many service members have that kind of time and that kind of money?
Very few.
Kirlin's story begins almost 7 years ago. Part of the Louisiana National Guard, his team traveled overseas for advanced training. 2019, you deployed to Guam. What happened?
On a routine training sortie, I experienced some pain in my neck. Ended up going to the hospital. I was unable to look up.
Based on these military records, you were denied an MRI which can identify neck injuries twice.
That is correct.
Why?
I can't give you a great answer for that. And we were told there's no such thing as emergency MRIs.
Kirlin showed us this specialized helmet for fighter pilots.
There's magnetic sensors in the jet that can tell where you're looking. And so you can guide your radar and heat-seeking missiles with this. So it's an incredible capability.
But there are significant disadvantages.
It's got some good weight to it. And, you know, the biggest problem with this helmet is the weight distribution. So when you're pulling 9 Gs, wearing that helmet with the weight of your head, it's well over 100 pounds.
Do you remember the moment you thought something was wrong?
I do, yes. At one point, I had rolled around to try to get a good shot with the helmet and felt a pop in my neck and felt the radiating pain down both arms.
When the MRI was finally done, what was the diagnosis?
I had 2 herniated discs and a bulging disc.
All in your neck?
All in my neck.
All related to your fighter pilot training?
That is correct, yes.
According to military records, Kirlin's commander concluded the neck injury was caused by his military service. That designation, called in line of duty, determines eligibility for care and benefits. In 2019, did the military conclude that your neck injury was the result of your pilot training?
They did. In the line of duty means that the military recognizes that the service member was hurt performing regular duties, and that any follow-on surgeries or disabilities the military would take ownership of.
But once Kirlin's case went to the National Guard Bureau headquarters, his neck injuries were denied. The medical reviewer was apparently a trained gynecologist, or OB/GYN, not a spine specialist. What happened when your paperwork got to headquarters at the National Guard Bureau?
An OB/GYN took a look at the paperwork and determined that my symptoms had fully resolved and were re-aggravated in an intervening event.
Just stop a second. Why is an OBGYN at the National Guard Bureau reviewing a neck injury case?
That is a fantastic question that I do not have an answer for.
Does the National Guard Bureau have neck and spine specialists?
You would certainly think so.
They never explained why a neck and spine specialist didn't look at your case.
No.
There's one section of this military review by the National Guard Bureau that caught my attention. The reviewer writes that your symptoms resolved. Did your symptoms resolve?
Absolutely not.
And then it says your neck injury was aggravated by a bike ride or flying as a commercial pilot. Does that make any sense?
No.
Is that accurate?
No.
So where does this bike riding explanation come from?
So of the hundreds of physical therapy visits that I've attended, one day I had mentioned that after riding a bicycle, my neck was more sore. And this person reviewing my case then cherry picks that one physical therapy visit and puts the whole blame on that or civilian flying. I mean, it makes no sense.
Is it fair to assess that the National Guard Board reviewer was looking for a reason to deny your claim?
Absolutely.
What makes Cody Kirlin's case stand out?
Cody's case stands out because it is so blatantly and intentionally wrong.
Jeremy Sorensen served in the Air National Guard as an F-16 and A-10 pilot and now advocates for service members. Are you alleging it's a systemic problem at the National Guard Bureau?
Yes, it's a systemic problem.
How many other cases have you seen like Cody Kirlin's?
I've seen at least a half dozen similar memos for different conditions, none of them being OBGYN specialty conditions, mental health, spinal issues, and other physical health conditions.
2 years after the National Guard Bureau denied Kirlin's progressive neck injuries were service-related, the Air Force initially backed up the denial and then suddenly reversed course. Let's talk about December of 2024. This one-page memo concludes that your neck injury is in the line of duty.
Yes.
When you received this memo, what was your reaction?
I was shocked. You know, much like a one-page memo tried to deny me benefits, now a one-page memo tries to grant them back. No explanation as to why it came or the reason to overturn.
When the Air Force turned around and said, yes, Cody's neck injury is due to his service, had any evidence changed?
Absolutely not.
Did you ever get an explanation from the Air Force as to why they did this 180?
No. There's been nothing except that document right there.
What do you think happened here?
I believe that there was enough pressure from Cody's legal counsel as well as advocates. Cody obviously wasn't going to back down.
So in your experience, many of these service members just give up.
Most service members either give up because they don't have the resources or time, they have to take care of their families, etc., or they start seeing a pattern of retaliation and reprisal when they highlight the misconduct happening in these matters.
Is the National Guard system broken?
It is hard broke.
For the last 11 months, Kirlin's case has been in front of a disability panel who will decide if he is medically retired. How many surgeries have you had?
I've had 2 surgeries so far.
Did the surgeries help?
The first surgery was unsuccessful. They were unable to get to the disc that they were trying to trim off the herniated portion of. Second surgery did help.
But it doesn't affect
Restricted.
your ability to work as a commercial pilot.
It does not, no. The physical requirements for an airline pilot are far different than that of an Air Force pilot.
Is it about dollars and cents?
Certainly appears so to me. The fact that they're overturning line of duty determinations at the cost of service members with no explanation, to me, I can't think of any other indications other than trying to save the government money.
What can the Trump administration do differently than the Biden administration?
So the current administration can put a fresh set of eyes on these matters. I've brought them to every level of the senior Department of War leadership, including to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, who I believe to be the one individual who has actually taken an earnest look at this matter. The Department of the Air Force continues to ignore this matter, and it is business as usual. So the Secretary of War can direct them to comply with law.
My training as an investigative reporter is that you want to hear from all of the different sides in your story, and you want to give them enough time that you can get real answers to your questions. In this case, we reached out to the Air Force and the National Guard Bureau. We gave them a week to answer our questions. I mean, for most reporters, a week is an extraordinary length of time. The Air Force responded with a pretty comprehensive answer. They said that there was a recent internal investigation that looked at this process and concluded there were significant shortcomings and it required improvements. The Air Force says it's looking for more transparency in the future so that when service members are denied, they understand why and what options they have going forward. The National Guard Bureau also responded. Their answers were not as comprehensive. They said they couldn't really get to a lot of information because of the government shutdown, and some of it required the Privacy Act. The National Guard Bureau did confirm that in cases like Cody Kirlin's, they don't have neck or spine specialists. We also reached out to the individual who reviewed Cody Kirlin's case. This is the person who is a trained gynecologist. We did not hear back from them. For me, this kind of reporting really matters. I'm in a military family. It's important that our service members and their families feel seen and heard and acknowledged, that if they are injured, our government keeps its end of the deal and takes care of them, and that no one is left behind. That is the kind of accountability journalism you can expect here on Straight to the Point. We'll see you next time.